Right, guys, let's look at the answers to exercise 1 on simplifying algebraic fractions. Let's start with the first one. Now, just a reminder, the whole aim of this is to factorize your top of your fractions and your bottom of a fraction, because then you are welcome to cancel as soon as you have the most factorized form on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to start. I see at the top here, I've got a common factor of a, so that's quite easy, b plus 1. In an exam, I would always quickly check in my head my factorizing. So I always go a times b, a times 1a. So I always know I'm right. The bottom of that fraction, immediately I recognize a difference of 2 squares, and there is no common factor, which I always check for first. Multiplied by a plus 3 cannot factorize, so I'm going to put a bracket around it to make it one term, and b minus 1 the same. Multiplied by, I immediately recognize the trinomial at the top of the third fraction, and the bottom I'm going to take out a highest common factor of 3. Now at the top, no common factor, and it's b times b. Now this has to be 1 and 1. It's the only option I have for multiplying together to give me 1. But the middle term is minus 2, so these must add together to give me minus 2. So I think they're both minus. B squared minus b would give me my minus 2b. And then plus 1. So that's indeed right. Now that I've factorized, actually all the work's done, I'm allowed to cancel entire brackets with entire brackets if they are identical on the top and the bottom. So a plus 3, b plus 1, b plus 1. And actually, this boils down to a over 3. Try to do your cancelling very neatly, because obviously the teacher has to be able to see your factorizing. So, for example, there I can't really see that it's now a minus. So just be careful that you cancel maybe in pencil would be best. Right, let's have a look at B. Right, this one's division, not a problem, because I know I can multiply as long as I tip my fraction around. So whatever was on the bottom now goes up to the top. I'm tippings and timesing. So my question is actually really simple. I leave my first fraction the same, and I tip and times for my division. Now back to my factorizing the top, factorizing the bottom. I recognize a trinomial at the top of my first fraction. It must be an x and x. The only two things multiplied together to give me 2 would be 2 and 1. And it must be minus 1x. Minus 2 and positive 1 would probably work. Check. X squared, yes. Plus x minus 2x would indeed give me minus x and minus 2. So I'm right. At the bottom of my first fraction, immediately recognizable as a difference of 2 squares. So x minus 2, x plus 2. And multiplied by, immediately I see a common factor of x. And identically at the bottom, I see a common factor of x. Right, I have factorized, which means I may cancel an entire bracket with an entire bracket as long as they're identical. X plus 2, x plus 2, x plus 1, x plus 1, x. Oh, wow. They all cancel. So what's the answer? Well, let's think about it. When I'm canceling, what I'm doing is I'm saying x over 2 goes into itself once. Sorry, x minus 2 goes into x minus 2 once. X plus 2 goes into x plus 2 once. X plus 1 goes into x plus 1 once. And something divided by itself is 1. That's basically what's happening when I'm cancelling here. I'm saying something divided by itself is 1. So basically I landed with 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. Right, our last example looks a bit fearsome, but again, all it is I'm dividing. So I'm going to tip and times. And I need to factorize. Now this looks a bit mean, so I'm going to start my factorizing immediately. So 3a squared minus 7a plus 2. Definitely no highest common factor because 3 and 2 are both primes, but it is a trinomial. I recognize that pattern, and I do know that this needs to be 3a and a. And I know the only thing they multiply together to give me 2 is 2 and 1. But the middle term needs to be 7. So and it's a minus 7, so I think it needs to be minus 2 and minus 1. Check. 3a squared minus 6a minus another a would give me my minus 7a and positive 2. So that's right. We factorize the bottom. also a trinomial, which means it's a times a, and also 2 and 1, because the only things multiplied together to give me 2 is 2 and 1. Now it's minus a, and we've just practiced one exactly like this. So it was minus 2 and positive 1, because the middle terms were minus 2a plus an a would give me minus a. Right, and I'm multiplying by my second fraction, a squared plus 2a plus 1. That's also denominator. And 1 and 1 are the obvious choices, and the middle term's positive 2a. So plus and plus, always check. A squared plus a would give me 2a, and plus 1 is correct. Divided by 3a squared plus 2a minus 1, also a trinomial, a lot of trinomials, yeah? Right, so that's definitely 3a and has to be 1 and 1 again. And how would I get plus 2? Well, this must be a plus, and this must be a minus. 3a squared plus 3a minus an a would give me my positive 2a and minus 1. Right, now, lastly, I'm going to multiply by, and I'm going to take the bottom to the top and the top to the bottom. Now, you're more than welcome to do two things in one. So I'm going to multiply, and I realize I'm going to tip in times now. And I could factorize. So if I want to look at this bottom would have a highest common factor of 3a. So it's now going to be on the top. And this would need to then be 3a, because that would give me my 9a squared minus 1. And the bottom is 9a squared minus 1, which is clearly the difference of two squares. So it's 3a minus 1, 3a plus 1, because that would give you 9a squared minus 1. So you're welcome to do two things in one. And now it's just about identifying identical brackets. So 3a minus 1 and 3a minus 1, a minus 2, a minus 2, a plus 1 and a plus 1, a plus 1 and a plus 1, 3a minus 1 and 3a minus 1. So far I'm left with 3a over 3a plus 1. Now it's very tempting to cancel those 3a's. It's very tempting to do that. We absolutely cannot. 3a at the top is one term, and at the bottom it's one term in a bracket. So you may only cancel if you can cancel an entire bracket. So that is our answer. Again, please go make sure that you find lots of examples of these in past papers and practice all you can.